Well, hey everybody, I'm Dave, and it's time for Story Time with Dave. Now, one of the things about shelter in place, or the whole COVID thing, is that sometimes you wake up in the morning and you're a little grouchy. Does that ever happen to you? You just wake up and you're not like in a good mood, in a bright mood, and everything is like, you're like, and sometimes they say you slept on the wrong side of the bed, but I don't really know what that means because I always sleep on the same side of the bed. Anyway, sometimes you wake up and you're a little grouchy and you're a little cranky, and sometimes you even have bad days. You ever had a bad day? I guess it's just part of life. Well, one of my favorite stories about having a bad day is a really famous book called Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day. It's a classic children's book. It's written by a woman named Judith Viorst and illustrated by a guy named Ray Cruz. And I thought I would read this book to us because I think it'd be great for us to all realize that sometimes we have terrible, horrible, no good, very bad days, but that doesn't mean that's the end of it. And if we go to bed and wake up, we have the chance to have a much better day the very next day. So I thought that'd be fun to read. You want me to read it for you? Do you want me to read it to you? Okay, let's go. Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day. I went to sleep with gum in my mouth, and now there's gum in my hair. And when I got out of bed this morning, I tripped on the skateboard by mistake, and I dropped my sweater in the sink while the water was running, and I could tell it was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. At breakfast, Anthony found a Corvette Stingray in his breakfast cereal. And Nick found a junior undercover agent code ring in his breakfast cereal box. But in my breakfast cereal box, all I found was cereal. I think I'm going to move to Australia. In the carpool, Mrs. Gibson let Becky have a seat by the window. And Audrey and Elliot got seats by the window too. I said I was being scrunched. I said I was being smushed. I said, if I don't get a seat by the window, I'm going to get car sick. No one even answered. I could tell it was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. At school, Mrs. Dickens liked Paul's picture of a sailboat better than my picture of an invisible castle. At singing time, she said I sang too loud. At counting time, she said I left out 16. Who needs 16? I could tell it was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. I could tell because Paul said I wasn't his best friend anymore. He said that Philip Parker was his best friend and that Albert Moyo was his next best friend, and I was only his third best friend. I hope you sit on a tack, Paul, I said. I hope the next time you get a double-decker strawberry ice cream cone, the ice cream part falls off and lands in Australia. There were two cupcakes in Philip Parker's lunch, and Albert got a Hershey bar with almonds, and Paul's mother gave him a piece of jelly roll that had little coconut sprinkles on the top. Guess whose mother forgot to put in dessert? It was a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. Well, that's what it was, because after school, my mom took us to the dentist, and Dr. Fields found a cavity just in me. Come back next week and I'll fix it, said Dr. Fields. Next week, I said, I'm going to be in Australia. On the way downstairs, the elevator closed on my foot, and while we were waiting for my mom to get to the car, Anthony made me fall where it was muddy And then I started crying because of the mud, and Nick said I was a crybaby. And while I was punching Nick for calling me a crybaby, my mom came to the car and scolded me for being muddy and for fighting. I am having a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day, I told everybody. But no one even answered. So then we went to the shoe store to buy some sneakers. And Anthony chose white ones with blue stripes, and Nick chose red ones with white stripes, and I chose blue ones with red stripes, but the shoe man said, we're all sold out. They made me buy plain old white ones, but they cannot make me wear them. When we picked my dad up at his office, he said I couldn't go play with his copying machine, but I forgot. He also said to watch out for all the books on his desk, and I was careful as I could be except for my elbow. He also said don't fool around with this phone, but I think I called Australia, and my dad said please don't pick me up anymore, and it was a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. There were lima beans for dinner. I hate lima beans. There was kissing on TV. I hate kissing. Then my bath was too hot. I got soap in my eyes. My marble went right down the drain. I had to wear my railroad train pajamas. I hate my railroad train pajamas. And when I went to bed, Nick took back the pillow he said I could keep, and the Mickey Mouse nightlight burned out, and I bit my tongue, and the cat wants to sleep with Anthony and not with me. It has been a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. My mom said some days are like that. Even in Australia. Now, that was a super fun book. And the reason I love it is just a reminder that sometimes we have bad days. And that's just part of life. But if we go to bed, we wake up, we have the chance to have a much better day. So I hope you're having a good day and not a bad day. But if you are, one of the things I like to do is just pray and say, God, my attitude is really crummy. I'm having a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. And just let your family know and let God know, because sometimes it happens. It's just part of what it means to be a person. And if we're honest about it with God and honest about it with our mom and our dad and our brothers and our sisters, they can actually help us. So I hope you're having a very good day and not like Alexander having a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. But whatever it is, I hope that you know that tomorrow can be better. So have a good day. I hope you have a great day today, and I'll talk to you soon. This has been Story Time with Dave, and I'm Dave.